G'day folks, in this video today I'm going to show you how to put a skin onto the Mavic Air 2 drone. So I've been flying for a little while now, a couple of weeks, and thought it's about time to personalize my drone, and that might make it a little bit easier to see when I'm up in the sky. So I decided to buy this flame from droneaccessoriesonline.com.au. Competitive price, and they do have quite a lot of skins to choose from. The first thing that it says on here is to put aside around 30 to 60 minutes to apply the decal. Make sure the space is clean your hands. Now to start with, it also says to clean with a lint-free cloth. I've taken off the propellers and I've decided to leave the gimbal cover on. I've seen other people take the cover off, but I've decided to leave that on. So it also says you need a pair of tweezers, so we'll see how we go because I've got biggish kind of fingers. Let's give it a crack and see what happens. So here's just a couple of learnings I've had from putting the stickers onto the drone and also the controller. So the first thing was to really make sure that your hands are clean. If you've got any grease or dirt on your hands, it will affect the stickiness of the back of the stickers. So make sure your hands are clean. Have some tweezers handy as well. So some of the pieces to put on, such as these tiny ones at the back here, are quite fiddly, and it really helps to have a set of tweezers just to help you get it lined up properly. You do need a lot of patience So that took me a while to do that, well over an hour to put that together. So if you're a patient person, you'll be fine. If you like jigsaw puzzles, you'll love it. If you don't like jigsaw puzzles, like me, you will find some parts of it a little bit frustrating to work out. But what I can tell was that by placing the chart to match up with the drone. So by looking at the back of this sheet, I could see that that particular outline was for the underside of the drone like this. And then I knew that all the pieces down this side of the sheet would be going on that side of the drone, on the drone's left side underneath, and the other way around for this side. So you just have to make sure you get your orientation correct, because I did struggle to figure out exactly which way these pieces went. So at least once I knew that it was on that correct leg, then it was just a matter of trying to figure out in my head, but also turning it around to see exactly where some of these pieces would line up in relation to some of the landmarks. So there's a bit of a curve here, there's a little bit of a notch here. So you've just got to sort of work out in your head what would go where. Another tip, that as you've finished each piece, then push it down solidly, as opposed to going over it again at the end. You can if you wanted to, but I would suggest, like I did, as you go along and you finish each piece, then press it down firmly, and that way you know that piece of the puzzle is done. If you are a perfectionist, you may not like some of these areas here. So for example, the back here, I've kind of messed that up a little bit, but that doesn't bother me. And there's also a few gaps. But that's just the way the drone is put together and the way the stickers are put together. And that's just part of it. So if you're a perfectionist, you may struggle to see some of these little gaps. I did notice that on the top here, it does have a little triangle part here missing. That's because it needs to fold itself in. All right, so if there was a sticker that went all the way, it may affect the closing ability of that leg. I left the gimbal cover on the whole time. I have seen some other people do it with the gimbal cover off. I'd rather protect it, so that's just me. I also took the propellers off. I also did notice that on the sheet here, it has a number 4. There's a piece marked number 4, whereas on the actual diagram of the drone, there is no number 4 labeled. So I just, by process of elimination, worked out that it would be at the back. So the back of the drone under here is where the number 4 went. One thing that would have been handy as well would be a suggested way to start. So you've got, 12, 13 pieces or 13 numbers, and then in your head you're trying to figure out what the best way to go about putting it all together would be. For me, I like a bit more direction, a few more steps to follow. So if it had said it's best to start with sticker 1, sticker 2, or to go in actual order, that would have been better for me, but that's just me. I just chose the biggest piece, one of the bigger pieces to start with, and that way I had a bit of success as I went along to figure out the stickiness, how sort of maneuverable some of these pieces are. So by starting off with a bigger piece, that's how I attack this puzzle. And then as you go, just make sure that the pieces still keep moving. So yeah, the legs still open up. Yes, the battery cover can still come off quite easily. That you still can easily open up some of your areas, like for your USB connection. So things like that. In all, no, I'm very happy with that. And it should make the drone a little bit easier to see in the sky. It'll make it easier to see in my hand as well, but not that I'm too fussed about this part. But I do like that, and I'm happy with the finished product. So if you have any questions, please leave them down below and I'll be happy to answer them for you. And lastly, if you're wondering where I got it from, once again, it's from droneaccessoriesonline.com.au. I think they're about 35 to 40 bucks thereabouts, depending on how many batteries that you get, battery covers. So I've got my 2 extra battery covers here for my 2 other batteries because I have the Fly More combo. Yeah, so 30 to 40 bucks roughly. I like to buy from Australia, being in Australia, but I'm sure you can find them online. There's a few other places you can Google, I guess. But this one is droneaccessoriesonline.com.au, and I'll leave a link to their website in the description down below. Thanks for watching.